everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Lit in English. We are back for the finale, which is this week. And thank you very much for joining us today. And so the journey so far is we have introduced the sixth barrier, and then we went in detail of the four principle, and then that would be the first part of a Lit in English season 4. And last week we was able to explore the three semantic reference system. We went in deep of the root formula and the triangle of reality. And today we are doing something very, very special because we will introduce the human structure. And the importance of the three semantic reference system is that it allowing us to have a foundational principle to develop any other principle, to develop any other um, view or information that we might need. So let's let's get right into it. So there you go. Understanding a cell materialized amenity, season 4. And I would like to invite you to just grab a piece of paper. And before we go in further into the human structure, let's revisit the triangle of reality of our three semantic reference system. So on the right hand side, I would like to invite you to write the root formula. And on the bottom left, let's write the triangle of reality. And today we are going to discuss the human structure. Right. So as we discussed it, all three of these semantic reference system are essential. The root formula is the reference system that can help us get to the very foundation of information, get to the very root of the problem. On the other hand, the root formula said that once we can have a clear image of what we truly want in life, then that image will materialize and it will become reality. Knowing that, we will be in more control of what kind of reality we seek. And in the root formula presentation, we explore the success story of like Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and they all had very similar story. They have a very clear image of the success of their company. They know their mission, and because of that, they was able to get the outcome that they want, the result that they wanted. And then for the triangle of reality, it give us the detailed information. The triangle of reality is the semantic reference system that we use to gather the information that we need. Let's use the story of Jeff Bezos, for example. He have a very clear image of what he want to do with Amazon, but then we have got to know the information, like what do Jeff Bezos need to do with Amazon at first in order to build the company as successful as it is today. And looking back to the history, we found the answer that Jeff Bezos decided to start Amazon with books because it was easier to store. Everybody seemed to need to buy books, and it is also easier to mail out. And you know what, book, it doesn't have a fast expire date or anything like that. So for Amazon, Jeff Bezos started out with a book, and those are the information that one would need to materialize their dream. Okay, and the third semantic reference system is arguably my favorite, the human structure. So when we talk about the human structure, it is a little bit more powerful than the simple word itself. So let's call back to the triangle of reality very quickly. So the triangle of reality said that everything that exists in our world, it consists of three parts. The first part is the information. Just like how we discussed Amazon earlier, we have the information of it. We know what it is. So with the right information, we will know the information, and then it's also had the material part of it. Let's put. And the triangle of reality also at the energy. And the triangle of reality also tell us that we need to we have to know knowing the information, believing, and then understanding. So very similar to the experiment where they turn lead into gold. In order to make changes, we have to understand the information of where we want to be. We have to believe in the possibility that we can get there, and we will be able to materialize the vision or the image that we have. And the energy part is extremely important. And we have the triangle of reality is a semantic reference system that provide us information that we need. And through the energy, through the network of people, we will be able to materialize that information through the root formula. All right. So that is the very foundation of the human structure. And I learned this. I have come to a really deep understanding of this recently, because I realized that, you know, when I was 19, I learned a lot, but then there wasn't much of the actual success that one might argue. And then I look at other successful people, like some of the world elite, and I realized that just having the information alone is not enough. Just having the uh, the image, the understanding of it is not enough. You have to have the people. Like Gandhi once said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." So Gandhi is a very, very special man. He was able to the to lead a revolution in India, and he was able to free the country without um, using a single bullet, because he was able to bring people together, and he had a very clear image of uh, the freedom that India will be able to get. And through the right information, he was able to bring people together. So just one person having that image, having the information, it is not enough. It's always take the entire group of people that coming together, and through that energy, they are able to make their vision, their dream, a reality. So not only Gandhi was able to do that, if we were to look back to Amazon, for example, what did Jeff Bezos do? He had an image in his head, because everything that exists in this world was created twice, one in our mind and one in the real world. So when I talk about material, I said that I meant that in the case of Jeff Bezos, for example, the image that he had about Amazon, that is already real. It is very, very real in his mind. And through that reality, he was able to have information of it. But in order to materialize his vision in the physical world, he had to have some sort of energy to materialize that image in his head. And what Jeff did is that he talked to his family members, he talked to his friend to get investment so that he can start his Amazon business in his garage. And luckily, his family loaned him money, his wife helping him with the business out of the garage. And then he was able to tell people about his business. There's always people involved in building anything in our society, in our world. So slowly over time, Jeff Bezos was able to get more and more customer, more and more employee, and together through that energy of that group of people, they are able to materialize an idea, an image that has already existed in Jeff Bezos' mind, and eventually many, many other people. Another very controversial story is the story of Elon Musk. So very similar. Elon had a lot of dream. He has a lot of vision, and once again, once you have that idea, that vision in your mind, and you want to make that your mission, that is already exists in your mind, which means that you are already had the information needed to materialize that image, that dream. And what Elon Musk did is that of course, he has to gather people together. He had to get enough people to agree with him, to support him. And he started out with a very successful company called PayPal. He later sell it for over $100 million, and then right away he invests those money into electric car and space exploration, and later become Tesla and SpaceX. Then he had many other company. All of his company initially, people hated it. People criticized it. People said how impossible it is. But that's Elon Musk didn't give up. He understood that he had to get people to agree with his vision, and he know how important it is. Therefore, throughout of throughout many years, he tend to get more and more people to join him, not only joining his company but supporting his mission. And nowadays, Elon Musk companies are some of the most valuable company out there. So this is to tell you the importance of the human structure, and arguably, I would say it is the most important semantic reference system to understand if uh, if we want to be successful with people. Okay, because the human structure is not only helping us understanding ourselves in a very deep level, it helps us understand other. It helps us understand society, the way that it function, and most importantly, it's help us appreciate all of it, being grateful for the energy, for the people that is around us. Okay, so throughout this week, we are going to discuss deeply with the human structure. That was just a quick introduction, and between now to the end of today presentation, we are going to spend most probably all of the remaining time to draw the human structure. So this is a great time to get another piece of paper, and I would like to invite you to draw with me. And again, this is most likely going to take up all of our time, but it's going to be great. All right. So right in the center of the paper, I would like to invite you to write the word essence. And again, please take this as a pure information, because we are going to discuss in the much greater detail. And then for essence here, we will write the word hearing. And seeing. Saying. and knowing. And that is going to be surrounded by a bright yellow circle. And that yellow circle, we call that a radiant energy. Energy. And the next one is emission. And imagination. Up here we have action. To the left, we have conscience. Let's use the dot to connect. And this is a representation of a cycle. And once again, this is pure information. We are going to discuss it in a much deeper detail in our upcoming days. Then, for the next cycle, that would be prosperity. Then beauty. Yeah. And fame. And yeah, luscious. Then yeah, rest. Once again, we are going to connect these to represent another cycle or connection between these. And these are layer to the depth of the human structure. Right. And outermost, we will have Greek then anger, then illusion, then arrogant, then skeptic, evil, then bias, and let's connect these together, and it will be the representation of an outer layer of the human structure, also called the human emotion. And all of this emotion, all of these inner layer is surrounded by electromagnetic energy. There's positive and then there's a negative. So let's start out with red, a positive energy surrounding this. So this is very fun to draw. We also have the negative electromagnetic energy. This is what keeping it balanced. So this we have blue. Okay. And then just right outside of the positive and negative electromagnetic energy surrounding the human emotion, we have the what I would call the 84,000 cognitive bubble. So it's almost like all tied up imagination, all tied up delusion that we see. So that would be let me write it here, 84,000 cognitive bubbles. And this bubble is surrounding. Once again, we are going to connect it with dot to represent the connection of a layer. This is also a representation of the cognitive bubbles. These would be like our feeling. And just above the, just outside of the 84,000 cognitive bubble, we have the elemental self. The elemental self of earth, water, fire, air. If you ever watched that show, the Last Airbender. So that would be the elemental self. Well, let's use this color, right? Earth. And water. And fire. And air. This is called the elemental self. And again, let's connect this with our dot. And this is the representation of the outer layer. And right after this, the elemental cell is also surrounded by the positive and negative electromagnetic energy. And you know how, like in the winter, we often get like electric shock. Part of the reason is because of the electromagnetic energy surrounding our body or the elemental self. So to complete the human structure, let us go ahead and draw the electromagnetic energy surrounding the elemental self. It's very relaxing when I draw the human structure. I highly recommend you to try and draw it. There is something very, very beautiful when I draw this. And again, surrounding it with the negative. And this is the human structure. Let's go ahead and try it down here. All right, just like what I was mentioned earlier, the human structure is very, very important because once we understand the energy part of it, we will be able to truly materialize our dream, just like what Bill Gates did, just like what Jeff Bezos did, just like what Elon Musk did. Because without the people, we have absolutely nothing. And this is a very, very, very powerful game. This is the game that's been playing since the beginning of time of human history. And if you don't believe me, maybe you can just look back to the history, right? The country with the most powerful army was the one that conquered the entire world, like the Mongol, for example, like Alexander the Great, for example. And then later on, fast forward to the modern world, the in the 1600, country that have superior navy were the one that riding their battleship and conquer the entire world, very much similar to what the Mongol did with their forces. And then in early 1900, there's something very, very interesting happened. There was an invention of airplane, and the economic and the relationship of the world changed dramatically. The country with strong naval army or strong naval system is no longer the strongest, the most powerful country. Instead, the country with the most population and most land one of become the strongest, most powerful. in the world. And history prove it, because back in the 1600s, we have the Portuguese, we have the Spanish, we have the French, the England, the English people, just the for power, for company with great naval, with great navy, they conquer the entire world, pretty much, literally. And when we invented air travel, country like the US, Russia, China become very, very powerful because they had great population and they had big land to explore. And the invention of airplane shorten the distance and make it easier and make it possible to connect city, to make trade possible. So it was all about the energy. It was all about the human structure. It was all about connecting the people. And this is one of the reasons why we are seeing many, many billionaire coming up. And they was able to do it very quickly thanks to the internet. Okay. So what Bill Gates did is very amazing. He created Microsoft and he put his Windows software, Microsoft software, to pretty much almost every single computer that ever exists in the world. But that was still through hardware. He still relies on the hardware of the computer. So in the recent year, in the past 10 years, if we look at our young billionaire, we notice that most of them was able to make it through social media, to software, or through application on the phone, like Facebook, Twitter, many, many other tech company. And they was able to reach their success very quickly. Again, thanks to the human structure, thanks to the energy of it, thanks to the amount of people they was able to brought together. YouTube is another phenomenon. They are a tech company under Google as well. But what YouTube did is very, very amazing, because YouTube allow its content creator to build their own community. They was connecting people together, the people with the same energy, the people with the same vibe. They came together and they might not even aware of it, but they are building a community. So Mr. Beast, one of the most popular YouTube channel on YouTube. He was only 24, 25 years old. He loved YouTube. He makes some of the most crazy video. And every time when he release a video, he get like tens of millions of views right away. And in the matter of weeks, he get hundreds of millions of views. At 25 years old, it's not tech savvy in the beginning, but he is now one of the most influential person in the entire planet, because he has a platform through YouTube. He was able to create content. He was able to bring in people together to generate that energy, and he is materializing something very, very great, very, very powerful. So when we look at the human structure, it might be very confusion at first, but trust me, this is the the simplest version of the human structure, because we are very, very complex. To put that complexity into one piece of paper, that is amazing. So let me give you an example. We human, operated um, through our desire. So if you just look at the pink color that I have here, prosperity, beauty, fame, luxury, and rest. So prosperity is just the idea of, let's say, the desire to have a lot of money, a lot of wealth. Beauty is just the desire to be beautiful, to put it simply. Fame is kind of like the desire to be famous. Luxurious is pretty much the let me see, the desire to eat well, and alongside of pleasure. Rest is another type of a form of pleasure. When we laying down to rest, to sleep, or maybe just doing some sun tanning in the beach of Hawaii. So those are the desire that very, very strongly urge that we have. And if you look at the business world, all of the successful company, they are focusing on offering these five elements, and they become very, very, very rich and very, very powerful. So we need to understand prosperity, beauty, fame, luxury, and rest. Right. And if we were to go to the outer layer, like greed, anger, delusion, arrogance, skeptic, evil, bias, there is a different level, different measurement for it. For example, let's say if we were to look at greed, for example, you can be greedy, you can take a lot for yourself. But if you are greedy for other, you have the desire to, let's say, give your children the opportunity that they need. You want them to wear the most beautiful clothes. You want them to have the best education. So that greed is not for yourself, it is for others. And that's part of the reason we have the positive and the negative electromagnetic energy. So there is a lot of great information in the human structure, and we will use this as a map, as a foundation when we discuss uh, in further detail of the use of the human structure. But at this time, this is more like just an introduction to the human structure. And we will definitely go more into detail tomorrow. But one thing that I do want to share with everyone before we go is the very central part of the human. That is the essence of us human, that is surrounded by radiant energy. That is very, very special. And there is a sense of hearing, a sense of seeing, a sense of saying, and a sense of knowing. Very, very powerful. And this is our journey to understand our inner self, which is also the journey to find our essence. And let's leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining us today, and I will see you tomorrow at around the same time. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye bye.